171.5 is where we stand for cable right now. How worried should we be about the strength of sterling, Jane?
I don't think that the Bank of England or the government should be that worried at this moment because, again, although we hear lots of headlines about how strong sterling is relative to the last 4 or 5 years, actually, if you look at the 10 years before the financial crisis, well, actually, sterling still is a relatively moderate currency. It really isn't that strong at all. So not too worried now. Of course, if we did see the pace of those gains accelerate, then I think we could have a little bit more concerns from the authorities.
And how likely is that, the pace of gains accelerating, and what's your target now?
Well, I mean, for cable, I think we could see 172. Beyond that, I think it very much depends on the Fed. And I think this is the case for lots of currencies across the board, because what we see, of course, is a very soft dollar. And the softness of the dollar has been far more prolonged than most people had anticipated at the start of the year. Of course, a lot of people thought the dollar would rally this year. But, of course, what we did have was that horrible Q1 growth in the US. And now the likelihood that the Fed may be even more dovish for longer than people had anticipated. So as long as the dollar is soft, there is potential upside for cable. So 172, 172.5, I think it could get really sticky at those sorts of levels. But if Yellen chooses to be dovish, who knows? All right.
Euro dollar. The euro's lost a little bit of steam. Is there concern? Are you concerned the ECB is going to try and talk this one down?
Well, it's going to have to be dovish from that point of view. It really doesn't want to see the euro go higher. At a point of view when there is disinflation, when there is that deflationary risk in the eurozone, maybe we've turned the corner on inflation, but it's far too early to really say that with any degree of confidence. So they will have to try and talk it down, because otherwise they could exacerbate this disinflationary risk. But again, ECB very much in the shadow of the Fed. And really, they want a strong dollar.
I mean, what does this say, Jane, to you, fundamentally about the euro? Given what we've had from the ECB, their desperate attempts to talk this one down, the wavering economic data out of the eurozone, and yet the euro remains pretty firm.
Well, it does, but of course, if you look at the long end of these curves, particularly the peripheral bond markets, what we've seen, of course, over the last couple of years is this massive turnaround from everyone wanting to get out of these bonds to everyone wanting to get in. We've seen the yields come down really very significantly, and I think when we look at the euro, we see this long end story very much reflected in that. We see this movement back into Europe, and if that persists, then the euro could remain quite well supported for quite a while.